Good day, televiewers. It's another special edition on my Media Prime TV. This day we are going to be talking about the film industry. We're going to be talking about kindness to humanity, and we're going to be talking about what it takes to get the entertainment industry, that of Cameroon, Africa, to another level. This evening, this afternoon, we are going to be gathering somewhere in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, to promote a project that is put forward by a Cameroonian with an objective to uplift the living conditions of Cameroonians, Africans as a whole. We are talking about the Bamboozler that is going to be premiered today in Douala, Bonanjo precisely, and the authors of that project are in the house with me. They are live. They're going to be talking to you, detailing what actually motivated their involvement in this project and what they have in store for us today as we gather in Bonanjo to discover this very great project. We are in the house this day with the director of the Bamboozler, call him Chidi Mokeme. I watched him play in many roles out there in Nigeria, actually constructing the Nigerian movie industry at the time. He is here in the studio with us live in Cameroon. We're glad to have you with us, Chidi.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
How are you enjoying Cameroon?
So far, so very good. Today is our D-Day, so we're all excited and in high spirits.
We also are in the studio with one of the greatest when we talk of African movie, when we talk of Nigerian movie. This is not his first time to Cameroon. He's been here severally. He's in the house with us. They call him Zack Orji. Many of you know him as Vulture Mike. He's in the house with us. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, this time for Bamboozler. I always tell people, pray not to be bamboozled.
Yes, we're glad to have you with us in the studio. We also hope you have been enjoying Cameroon. This should be your second home.
It is my second home because part of who I am today was formed here.
Okay.
Right here in Douala.
Okay. We're glad to know. We are also in the company of the key person. She is the executive producer of the Bamboozler. They call her Dr. Belinda Babila. She has been in all the social media circles in Cameroon with this great project. She's here with us. Doctor, we're glad to have you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Nice having me in the studio today. Thanks.
Very tiring, I can imagine.
Yes, but doable.
Okay. Let's look at the Bamboozler before we get to other things. Why the title and what is it all about?
Bamboozler, like the dictionary meaning of it would tell you, means trickster. So it's titled because the movie, it's the main character in there is it's a romantic trickster. So the story lies of it's a love story gone wrong in a global summary.
Okay.
So,
and Chidi is the guy who is is the guy who is toasting with was it your heart? Yes, Chidi. How did you come into the project?
You need to come and find out.
Just saying.
You know, that's part of why you need to be at the premiere, to find out who's this Bamboozler, you know, who's the person doing the bamboozling and who's getting bamboozled.
That's right.
You know, so that's why we're here, to make sure that people know that we're live on ground and we want them to come out and see the movie, you know.
Chidi, you have been around the movie industry for so long. What caught your attention and eventually saw you engaging in the project?
Yes, you know, recently I've been doing a lot of work outside in the USA because my family is out in the USA, so I shuttle a lot. So I've been noticing there's a gap, you know, in the content industry. So a content gap, really, so to speak, for immigrants out there. So they're like stuck in limbo. You know, they have access to Hollywood movies, they have access to Nollywood or African movies. So these are two familiar terrains, but these are people who are crossing from one society into another. Nobody's telling the stories that concern them, the stories of these transitions. So I've been having conversations with a lot of people, including Dr. Babila when I met her. And then we thought, oh, this might be something we can take advantage of. There are a lot of stories that immigrants have to tell, you know, and nobody's telling their stories. We're telling stories of people here and people back home. But there are new stories being told about why people are relocating, why people are being displaced, what happens to people who get displaced, what happens to people who move from one place to the other. So in the course of that conversation, we had a story idea that Dr. Babila had. Before then, she had talked about raising funds, you know, for her humanitarian work, which I think is where the seed was sown. And because of COVID and all that, there's been a reduction in donor participation. So you have to seek creative ways, you know, to generate funds to continue the humanitarian work. And one of the ways we thought about was, okay, why don't we use movies to engage people? You know, so you don't just go to people and say, donate money, you know? So you do something that brings them, you entertain them, you inform them, you educate them, and then in the process, you can also raise funds to continue to do the good work. And then she came up with this idea. There was an original story, The Passport, a short story, you know, that they had shot, and she wanted to take that to festivals around. And we said, okay, short story means you're making an investment, but do you get a return? So while you're teaching people and preaching to people and passing on these messages, how do you also further this humanitarian work? So we said, why don't we expand it into a full feature movie? That way we can take it to more audiences, and we're here.
Okay, you are here, Zack.
Yes, sir.
You are neither the director nor a key actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a consultant.
Yes, but you are in Cameroon to push this project.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Because I support the cause that the Belinda Babila Foundation stands for, taking care of people who have been negatively affected by circumstances of life. Some are refugees, some are, you know, suffering one kind of disability or another, not necessarily physical disability, but disabilities in other areas. They need help, they need compassion. So this project is like a mission of compassion. And that's what got me attracted to it. And not only that, I've known Dr. Belinda for years.
Okay.
Surprisingly, this is the first time we are meeting. But we've known each other for years.
Yeah,
we've been talking.
Work.
You know, when she wanted to go into the movies, she told me about it, showed me the little skit she did, and I said, you look like you've been acting for years, because, I mean, one thing is watching an actor and believing. Believability is key for an actor. And when you watch an actor and you believe, you don't think they are acting it, you think they are the part they're playing. That's what I saw in the little skit she sent me, and I said, you go right ahead. Anywhere I can support, I'll be there for you. So when Bamboozler came up, I said, why not? Let's support it all the way, because it's a mission of compassion. That's just the way to put it.
Okay, you've been surely coaching her from behind. Dr. Belinda, you took myself by storm. I'm sure you took many other persons, because I know you, I've followed you, I've gone to Bona Berry Mabanda, precisely where you're handing out stuff to the underprivileged. I have seen your works out of Cameroon. Today, almost everybody's shocked at that. Where is she coming from? in the film industry?
Okay, well, like I said earlier, COVID came. Everybody was glued to Netflix. Netflix became a mental tool.
Okay.
And
See.
donations were cut off because economies were down. We had to re-strategize, we had to recalibrate, and we decided to get into, like, social enjoyment via films. So we decided to create a fundraising initiative product, entertainment, and then we picked films. So we'd create films as a fundraising strategy to continue to sustain Belinda Babila humanitarian projects. So that's just COVID birthed this.
But you also found yourself playing a role as this being a new or this wild role.
Back in Lissibilang, I went to Lissibilang, brother, for those of you who may not have known, but I did go to school in Cameroon. I went to Lissibilang, but very back in the days, I used to do drama in school. So I think the talent was just there. But, once you travel overseas and you have other career paths, you don't, it was there. I just had to go back and just harness it back and then bring it back to light.
And then meeting persons like...
exactly.
Who have been there for long. Yes, so, but it is true, the objective is to get persons to put resources together to be able to reach out to the underprivileged in our communities, a thing you have been doing. But Chidi, you are, I would also say you are one of the ace guys in the movie industry. Tell us what the audience should be looking out for as they come for the premiere this evening. What is the strength of the movie?
What the movie has done basically is try to explore the themes of domestic violence, of illicit romances, of crimes of passion, but through totally different lenses, So how people can be having different kind of relationship problems, but all in one way or the other linked to the same thing, So there's, people can find themselves, they can find situations with the characters that resonates with them. But what we have done is try to push the boundary a little, and so we have introduced sex as a weapon in this movie. So when I say introduce sex as a weapon, and I mean that's a clickbait, because when I say sex, everybody's ears just wakes up. So that's why we're using that. So we say we have introduced sex as a weapon. At the heart of most conflicts, whether between individuals, between friends, between couples, even between nations, kings have gone to war because of sex. And not necessarily sex, but because a love interest has moved on to somebody else. And that creates conflict that brings in so many other people, whereas this was a matter of somebody being deprived of sex, and that sex seemingly perceived to have been given to somebody else and leading to betrayal. So we find people in different conflict situations, but at the heart of all of these conflict situations, we say, why is intimacy linked to all of these conflicts? All of the issues of heartbreak, all of the crimes that people commit in the name of passion is all linked to, at one point, I used to be able to have sex and have an intimate relationship with this person, and now it's not there. So I'm going to destroy the world, So you find a character who, in her quest for romance, ends up in this triangle of deceit, of murder, she meets up with a quintessential playboy who ends up being engaging with a serial killer, So her world totally is torn apart from a simple need and intention that we all have, So that's where most of the audience will be able to connect with this movie, because the intention from the beginning is, I just need a relationship, and I didn't need it to spiral into any of these things that we get to witness as the movie just plays out.
Now, we know that most African movies are shot in Nigeria. First, we have South Africa, and then we have Ghana, and also Cameroon, obviously, and other parts. And we know the quality that we expect from these nations. And now this one is an African movie shot in the US. We guarantee that same quality or better.
I mean, quality-wise, like you said, most African movies being shot out of the countries as mentioned does not mean that quality has really been lacking. I mean, we've had our shooting stages, we've had to develop the industry, but we can say right now, I mean, going by what happens on Netflix and all of the streaming platforms, you can see the quality of movies that are coming out of Africa. And African movies don't necessarily have to come out of Africa. You know, like I mentioned before, there's a vacuum of African immigrants integrating into other parts of the world that also have stories.
I mean that African flair. Osofia was done in London, but
Yes.
an African, I mean that flair, because whether you like it or not, if you do Fufukon and Jama Jama in America, it's still Fufukon and Jama Jama.
Yeah, but I think
you need to be able to define what you mean by African flair.
Yeah.
For me, anywhere you see Africans, they go with everything that makes them. Their culture, their tradition, their clothing, their lifestyle.
Yeah,
it cuts across.
It's African.
Yeah.
It cuts across
Yeah.
wherever they are in the diaspora.
Okay.
And what makes an African movie for me is the presence of Africans.
That's right.
In the movie, as the backdrop of the movie. You know, so the stories have so many different dimensions, but these stories are happening to Africans.
Okay.
And don't forget, culture. There is no culture that has not been
Tempered with to some extent.
tampered with to some extent. I didn't want to say polluted.
Yes.
There's no culture that has not been tampered with to some extent, and especially for Africans living in a diaspora, there's no way their culture will not mix with the cultures of the land that they are living in. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but you will always see that Africanness once they are Africans, wherever they are living.
They remain unique. But now, let's talk a little bit about your presence here beside Chidi, as well as Dr. Belinda. Is this also a wake-up call for Africans to always be there for one another, especially for causes like this?
Yes. That's why I'm here. And I love the story. Because one thing that sells a story is its relatability.
Okay.
When people watch it, what is it they can relate to that is in the story? When you watch Bamboozler, there is so much relatability it has because everybody has experienced one thing or another that you see in Bamboozler. As long as we all have our love lives, whether at the low level or at the high level, there is the relatability you find in the movie. And like you said, we need to support each other. We need to support each other. That's the only way we can grow.
Yes, Doctor, what is going to happen today out there in Bonanjo, Hotel Falaise?
Surprises, surprises, surprises. We intend to make sure that the persons that take up time off their schedules to come out and support the cause feel very, very valued and leave feeling impacted to have been able to come out, support a movie while watching the movie and enjoying the movie. You'll be able to be you are inadvertently transforming life of vulnerable persons. So to me, I think it's a unique movie this season. You're just not gonna watch a movie and just walk off. You watch a movie, but you're indirectly empowering your life because the proceeds of this movie would help us establish a multi-purpose training center in Bonaberi Mabanda Douala for the IDPs and other vulnerable persons.
So, wherever you're watching us from, please, if you think that you want to support the project, because it's a very big project, you can still get to us. Can we have our numbers on the screen, please, if it's possible? Just add the numbers there. Are the tickets still there, available?
Yes, tickets are available, but almost sold out. So if it's best that they call in the next hour or two. I don't think after in the next 2 hours we'll still have any open seats. So,
but aside from getting the tickets to be part of the premiere, they could support the project.
Absolutely, and we did give appeal letters to companies, airlines, and if they're watching us right now, they're still welcome. They can always reach out. Anybody that had received an appeal letter to be a sponsor, to be a partner, if you're watching us, it is for a cause. So we're trying to get a very inclusive project where we want the local companies, international companies who are in Cameroon to be part of this project. MTN, Orange, if you're watching us, reach out. Brasserie, Supermall, all of you guys who are watching us, reach us. We did drop all these appeals to you all.
Yeah, some persons may really wonder what the foundation, Belinda Babila Foundation, has been able to do so far. They may want to know more.
Well, BBF has, we've been existing since 2017, and we actually got birth in Mabanda, where my parents or where I'm from.
In Bonaberi?
In Bonaberi, Mabanda. So we started with widows that I still have. There were 100 widows. I have been a single mother who raised her kids by herself for over 19 years. So almost wearing the shoe of a widow myself inadvertently. So I would empathize with widows who are in Cameroon, knowing fully well that these are two separate economies. So if I, who's in the Western world, can struggle, I can only imagine what somebody in not a very empowered community would be going through. So I empathize with them, started with them. We had a chance to rehab at least 50 of those 100 women. Some went back to getting vocational training, some went back we got them re-empowered because they had lost that source of livelihood, they lost their source of income. So the goal was your mind is gone, but listen, it is the reality of life. You have to wake up, you have to embrace it, and you have to find a way to give a future back to your kids. So we started with them, and then we moved from them. It's been refugees, it's been IDPs, it's been orphans, it's been disabled persons. We're currently kind of like headquarters right now in Akwa Ibom State in Oyo, and we've worked with IDPs at Cross River at the Ogoja camp, the actual refugee camp in Ogoja. 2019, we were able to go there and set up their first aid emergency clinic. That was a major outreach that we did. We did import container worth of medical items and all the support materials. And here in Cameroon, we've had empowerment sessions, we've had outreaches, we've had love feasts, we've had prison outreaches, we've had over 100 outreaches since 2017. So it's huge. So I don't know where to start from. Most people they can relate to our work. So it's at the end of the day, we're just restoring hope to hopeless persons.
Okay, we are calling on you wherever you're watching us from. Most of you have my number. If you want to reach out to Dr. Belinda Babila, just get to me. I'll get you connected to her so that you can support the project, and by so doing, reaching out to so many persons out there who are in need of help, especially the displaced persons living within Cameroon and out of Cameroon. Now, Chidi, we are talking about a project that is going to be launched today in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. It must have costed a fortune for you guys.
Movie making is serious business. You know, it is serious business. But because this was a movie for a cause, you know, we tried to see how we could stay within reasonable spending limits, you know, without breaking a neck, and still be able to deliver something with which we can pull people together and say, hey, we're trying to do some humanitarian work, but we want to invite you, let's sit down, chit chat, talk, enjoy something, and then make a difference, you know. Yeah, so it did cost some money. Movie making costs some money, especially if you're shooting outside in the United States, you know. But because most of the work that the foundation is doing is being done in Africa, Dr. Belinda insisted that she must go and exhibit, you know, in Africa, so that we can get people at home involved in the project, you know, because the project basically concerns them, you know, so charity begins at home, you know, so the movie is planned to premiere in a lot of cities, you know, in different cities around the world, but charity begins at home. So we had to come here first. So part of this is recoup the investment from the movie to continue to do the work.
Okay, but back there in the US, is there a production house that is in charge of this, and are you already also thinking of establishing a very strong African production team out there to be churning out what you say is that missing link?
That's the plan exactly, because that vacuum needs to be filled, and we have decided that if not us, who? If not now, when? You know, so we've taken the mantle and decided that, okay, let us take it as part of the mission statement to provide stories that because stories are universal, you know. Bamboozler, like you say, it's a love story, and love is not African. Love is universal. People get their hearts broken all over the world every day. You know, people have relationship crises all over the world every day, but we have decided that, okay, let us create a branch industry. There's Hollywood, there's Nollywood, so let us create Nolly Hollywood, if you can call it that, you know, so that you can tell stories that nobody is looking at right now, you know. People back home are telling stories that concern us back home. People over there are telling stories in the societies where they are. Let us now tell stories of how countries and cultures are being breached, you know. And so we're going to create a strong production base out there. We already have other movies in the works already. These movies will be cross-cultural, you know, they'll be cross-geographical, linking the diaspora with home in every way possible. Movies that continue to link people in diaspora with people at home. So nothing is really lost.
Yes, Zack, is this another niche to be exploited that has been lacking, and how ready are you to also move that way to support what Chidi is explaining?
I'm ready anytime. Ready as in yesterday. Anytime they call on me. But I've been doing some work in the US. Just in line with this. Back in 2019, I directed a movie in Maryland.
Okay.
And I guess it's the same DP that worked on this project, Dexter. Dexter Brains himself is also a Cameroonian, and he's a fantastic director of photography. He's a writer and also a director. He worked on that project. And that project was executive produced by 2 Cameroonians and 2 Sierra Leoneans.
Okay.
So a lot of work is going on, but the main thing is doing it and connecting it to Africa. Some way, somehow, and that's what has made Bamboozler different.
Okay.
Doing it and then
coming back home
to use it for a cause. That's what makes Bamboozler unique. Not just doing it for doing its sake. People shoot movies for all kinds of reasons. The profit motive is there. Yeah, okay, you've shot the movie, you make profit, but what do you use the profit for? What do you channel the resources you get from the movie? What do you channel them to? How do the resources help other people better their lives? That's what Bamboozler is doing.
Is that the more reason why persons should support the cause? Because we know the objective. The objective is to set up, you say it's a center to train internally displaced persons.
That's right, yes.
Yes, but when you look at the industry, you guys are the pioneers. I used to watch you guys while I was in...
while you were still...
I used to watch the movies, went to school, and today you guys are still there. Where would you place the industry today? The movie industry?
In Africa?
In Africa.
The movie industry in Africa is unique now because we are telling our own stories. You know, in other words, we are telling our stories from the right perspective. Not previously when people were telling African stories for some reasons best known to them. I mean, colonial films started being, like in Nigeria, the first colonial film was shot in 1926. And it wasn't shot to serve any African interest, it was shot to serve the colonial interest, even though Africans were used in the movie. Do you understand? But now, and then those stories were not told from our perspective. They were told to serve another interest. But we are telling our stories now authentically. A Cameroonian is the best person to tell a story from Cameroon. An African is the best person to tell his own story, not some other people who use it for their own selfish purpose. That's the uniqueness of our projects now, African projects. That's the uniqueness. And that's the interest so that people will begin to see us really as who we are, not as who some people want us to be or want the world to see us.
Okay. Doctor, today persons are coming to Bonanjo to witness for the first time this project and also support. Are there some artists who are coming, or are there some key things that you would want to also entertain the people who are coming there, or everything is a surprise?
I think it's best if they just come. I mean, we, like I said, the goal is to have a unique premiere tonight, and I think we've put into our dispositions entertainment to make sure that people time to, like, them taking our time to come out, they feel fulfilled, they feel valued. And so we do have some entertainment going on. We have comedians who would perform, artists who will perform. We have some special dance performances. We have some things put in place besides the movie. And mind you, the movie too, we need to allocate time for it. We have a red carpet that's going to start at 5 p.m. And yes, we have a value-based package put together. So if you're watching us and you've not gotten your ticket, we would encourage you to do that right now. If you need a number, we would put a number on the screen for you to call and get your ticket. And if you're a partner and you're still thinking, yeah, I think it's about time I join this good cause, you're more than very welcome to join us. We're still open. Mind you guys, we're also going to be in Yaoundé next Saturday. So this is the opening of 2 sessions of premiere. So if you're in Yaoundé, get ready. We will be in Yaoundé the 16th. Same location, La Falaise, Yaoundé as well.
What is the support you have had from the industry back home?
Wonderful, wonderful support. I want to really sincerely thank Mrs. Brenda Elong, who is the president of the Cameroon film industry. I want to thank you, ma'am, for really standing with me. I want to thank you for the love and the support. She did give me her hand. I want to thank the president of the Producers Guild, Mr. Wamusi, who was really, it's been very, I am quite impressed.
He's a nice guy.
Yes, awesome. I mean, I'm really impressed with the way they've stood with me. Honestly, I want to tell you guys, the Cameroon film industry, thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. I am especially appreciative.
And you're telling the Cameroonian public that after this, they should be waiting out, looking out for something bigger.
Yes, absolutely. Very soon. Absolutely. we're working on a Pan-African project after this, and Sir Zack, Sir Chidi, they're all on board as well. And I will be working with major Cameroonian actors and Cameroonian. It's an inclusive project, so before we even leave, we're planning to have a cast, like, a casting call for the upcoming project. It's big, so yes, we would. Cameroon stays a priority, and this project, this movie project in America had about 40% of my cast were Cameroonians. We just could not be able to fly anybody from Cameroon into the States for this project because, like I said, we're a little bit budget constrained. But we have another project which will be shot on ground between Cameroon and Nigeria, and that's going to be quite inclusive. So again, Cameroonians will be 40% of that project because I am a Cameroonian. So I allot that percentage back to my people.
Chidi, what is the future of the industry? You telling young people who are watching us today, or parents, because some are scared when they hear that their children are supposed to engage in acting movies. We saw the roles you played, and some people think that, okay, maybe these guys are not serious. What is it that you're telling parents who may be watching us or young persons who write to me all the time that they want to engage in acting?
I mean, the future is here. You know, let me put it that way. The future is here. When we started way back, there were a lot of fears, this kind of fears, because if you tell your father or your mother that you're trying to be a performer or a musician or an actor, then that's taboo, you know, because it means you have just wasted all the money that they have been spending to send you to school, you know. But that's a warped, you know, mentality that we were, you know, they were given. Yeah, it worked for them at the time because they were ignorant. You know, when the white man came here, the white man needed people who had skills that could help him to advance his selfish interest. So those skills were straightly, you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, you're a this, you're a that. After that, we don't need anybody else. So everybody focused on getting one of these professions or the other. But whilst we were doing that, the world was advancing. People were getting skilled in so many different aspects of life. And then we missed the way that we could have told our own stories. Most of the brainwashing that has happened to Africa and Africans has been done through the medium of film, you know? And that's why, like Zack said earlier on, we need to tell our own stories back to the people, using African people, using African equipment, you know, and all that. So, let me not deviate. When we started, it used to be a problem for people to probably see their kids with an entertainer. I'll use myself as a case study. I've heard in so many places, before you even leave your friend, you already hear the mother saying, if I see you with that boy again, you know, that boy that says he's not going to school, he wants to be a performer. You know, if you want to be a dropper, you know, because people didn't understand, so it was out of ignorance. But then I also say that one of the greatest things that has happened since then is that right now, most times, when you run into a president, a minister, a governor, as a matter of fact, I've had 2 different personalities like that say to me, hey, Chidi, you must come to my house. My son say he wants to be like you, so come and train him. I said, oh, come and train you? In the villa? Very good, I'll be there. You know, so that's a major shift from when people say, we don't want to see you with our son, to when the president says, you must come and tell my son how you did this. You know, so for parents watching out there, I said, the future of your kids lies in the talent that God had already given them. If you suppress the talent that they have already in pursuit of other people's ideas of success, then they will not be themselves. They can only be second best. The only way you can be the best of yourself is to be who you want to be with things that only emanate from inside you. And I say the way we calculate success these days, especially from an African point of view, is security. Security of money, ability to pay bills, your ability to take care of your family. So if you look, the people who earn the most money in the world are people who use only their talents. Nobody in the bank makes as much money as a footballer. Nobody in the bank makes as much money as a musician. Nobody in the bank makes as much money as an artist. So if money and security is your worry for your child, then you must let that child explore his full innate potential so that they can turn around and be happy and be prosperous and be able to take care of you. Let the child bloom. Let the child give to the world what God has already put inside of them. The people who make the most progress in life are people who can do things for free that they do earning a living from. I've been acting for free. I started my career acting for free. Footballers start their careers playing on the street for free. That means there's something in you that pushes you to go and do this thing, whether you're getting paid or not. By showing your skill, you get to a place where the world respects you and the world opens the bank to you.
Okay. Zack, I do not want to ask. I do not want to ask the same question, but today something is going to be happening out here in Vola, and many persons may want to meet you, talk to you, and also help direct them into what you guys are doing or becoming who you are. What are you telling the many persons watching us today that they should join you in Bonanjo today or in Yaoundé next week?
They should join us in Bonanjo today, and also join us in Yaoundé on the 16th at the same La Falaise, Yaoundé. I want to say that people should come out and support this project because it's for a good cause. I don't know how else to put it. It is for a good cause, it is for a good cause. You don't start living your life until you have stretched your hand to another person to lift the person. That's when you begin to live. Because like he was saying, the gifts that God has given you is not for you, it is for the world. If God has put some gifts and talents in you, it is not for your own personal fulfillment or aggrandizement. It is to bless the world with that gift, one way or another, and that's what we're doing. I was the president of the Actors Guild in Nigeria in 2003. One of the first things I taught every actor was a slogan: I am proud to be an actor. And I made them understand an actor is not a dropout. An actor is not a fickle-minded person. An actor is a professional like any other professional. I told them to look at me. I studied estate management at the University of Nigeria. I did a course in media enterprise at the Pan-Atlantic University. But I chose to be an actor as my vocation. And it has taken me to all parts of the world. Do you understand? So anybody who looks down on actors is making a mistake. Anyway, nobody looks down on an actor these days. But how to tell you how serious it is, or it used to be, there was a time a family conference was called because of me. Yeah, I was told to go and get a respectable job, not this nonsense I'm doing. After studying in the university, studying this and studying that, you say you want to be an actor. Are you crazy or something? I told them, I am an actor by choice. This is what I want to be. And they decided to leave me alone. And today, this is where I am. This is who I still am. This work has taken me to all parts of the world. I've gone as far as Bangkok.
Today they are happy they let you be.
That's right. My own government, my government in Nigeria sponsored me to go for a festival in faraway Bangkok. I have met presidents, I have met all kinds of people by reason of my line of work. So I'm telling parents, but one thing I tell any young person who comes to me and says to me, I want to be like you, I tell the person, just get inspired by watching us. But be your own person, because God has created you to be something. He has put it in you. Don't take acting as a temporary expedient because some things are not working for you. You say, I want to try this acting of a thing. That's what most of them say. Don't say, I want to try this acting of a thing. If you want to be an actor, it should be by choice, that you've chosen it as a vocation and you want to do it, but first of all, you must get a good education. That's what I always tell them. An actor is not a dropout. An actor is a highly talented person with a whole lot of gifts, and it takes a lot to create the illusion of being another person and convincing the world that you are that person, because that's who an actor is. And you need to be equipped. Education is one of them. You need to go to school. You need to get educated. You need to be able to stand up anywhere and be your own person.
Okay, we have time. This one says, oh, I'm so happy to see my icon, Zack. Orji, welcome to my country. Love you guys. Chidi, I'm so happy seeing you in Cameroon. Okay, some other person is saying that, good day, Mr. Leo. I'm glad to see them all in Cameroon. I want to come into the film industry. What do I do? I'm writing from Gabon. Just write to us, please. I'm sure there's going to be a rebroadcast of this program around 1 p.m. or whatever the time, but there's going to be a rebroadcast of this program. Also to know that it's going to be broadcasted on my movies Okay, it's also live on My Movies TV as we speak, but there's going to be a rebroadcast. Many persons would have loved it to be longer so that they hear from Zack, Orji, and Chidi, but it's television. We have to end here. Now, one last word to those watching us.
All right. The conclusive word that I'm going to use today is, if you've always, I know everybody somehow deep down in their hearts wants to always reach out, wants to be a blessing to somebody else's life. If you've ever thought in that light that how, I don't think you should always, you never ever really be ready or be that millionaire or that billionaire person before you can help. If you've had it in your spirit at some point in your life that I feel like I would feel more accomplished, I'll feel more purposeful if I extend a hand. And I think the most sacrificial extension of a hand is when you do it in your lowest position. So if you've ever had thought that, how do I support? Because other people's problems are always worse than ours until we really get to hear their story, get to see what they're going through. So if you've ever had in your heart to want to be a blessing to somebody, we've created this platform via movies where we are taking this very seriously. I always say my humanitarian service is first and foremost a calling. I ran away from it for so many years. So many years. By 2017 was the year where it got to a point where I couldn't run away anymore. I felt like if I didn't do it, nothing else was going to be working in my life. So I said, okay, God, I've heard, I'm going to do this. So because I knew how hard it was going to be a journey. So if you want to support a vulnerable person, by vulnerable persons I mean a disabled, an orphan, a street child, a disabled or an IDP that's moved, a refugee, if you want to support any person whom you feel has been less opportune in the community, we're bringing Bamboozler to you as a platform where you coming out to the premiere tonight is you supporting that person. One ticket sold is a life empowered. One ticket sold is skill acquisition that vulnerables will be getting. We're serious about the center, and we are trusting. All what we're asking is for we did the movie in America. To bring it down here, it's not very easy. So we're just calling on you. We brought the projects down, brought the key Uncle Zack, Sir Chidi to Cameroon. If you are in Cameroon, if they could come from thousands and thousands of miles away, and you're here in Douala, you're here in Cameroon, all what it would cost you is a taxi. I would really appreciate if you come out and join me, support the vulnerables via Bamboozler movie premiere.
Okay.
So if you're watching me, be my guest.
What time?
5 p.m. today is the startup of the red carpet starts at 5 p.m. Douala.
Yeah, and you can get tickets. I mean, you can call numbers so that your tickets can be arranged to be dropped off.
Is it possible that we have a number on the screen?
You can call 677-834-4788, 677-834-4788, 673-970-009, 673-970-009, and you can get a ticket arranged for you.
During the broadcast, I would advise why it's playing your number.
Yes.
It's going to be on,
alrighty,
so that they affix it. We want to say thank you, Chidi, for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being here, and this is the first of many more times to come.
Okay,
That's right.
Zack, thank you for coming.
Always a pleasure. This is my second home.
And Doctor, we're great to have had you today.
Thank you, Sir Leonard. Sir Leonard, my media prem actually, and I'll say, has been an official sponsor of the Bamboozler projects. I really want to say thank you to my media prem leadership, and thank you guys for the support. They've really stood with me this season. They're one of the few media houses that have supported the cause. So, sir, I say thank you sincerely from my heart.
Okay.
I do appreciate you.
Thank you all who took time off to watch this edition of special edition. We thank the production team. Stay blessed. Bye-bye. Voila.